And welcome back. I'm with Dr. Sherry Norville, and we are at Discover Audiology. First of all, thanks for having us here.
Thank you.
All right, noise is all around us. You have loud noise, you have soft noise, you have high pitch, you have low. How does noise affect our hearing?
If noise is loud enough and you listen to it long enough, it will eventually result in permanent hearing loss, which is noise-induced hearing loss. Noise-induced hearing loss is the second leading cause of hearing loss amongst adults, only second to aging. We know we're all going to lose some hearing eventually because we get older, but noise-induced hearing loss is like a premature aging of our ears.
Now, okay, when we're talking about noise, occupational noise, just noise in general, how do we know, or what can we learn about that'll tell us if noise is too loud?
OSHA has provided us with guidelines. They and NIOSH, another agency, have identified anything above 85 to 90 decibels as being hazardous. So in recreational settings, though, OSHA is not out there telling us, when to wear our hearing protection. And that's partly why this is so important, because your job is going to enforce wearing hearing protection if it's mandatory, if it's noisy enough in those environments. But our teens and young adults, they're not growing up being taught that something is too loud and potentially need to be wearing hearing protection for it.
Okay, so maybe I suspect I have hearing loss, or I know I have hearing loss. What do I need to do at that point?
So you need to be seen by an audiologist to have your hearing tested. There are certain markers that we can tell from that hearing test that give us a clue that yes, you've been around some hazardous noise. And if you're going to continue to do those kinds of activities, whether it's occupational or recreational, then we can educate you on how to protect your hearing that will prevent further loss.
Okay, you have a few things right here. These are ways to at least protect your hearing?
Yes.
Tell me about some of these.
So there's times when just wearing, something that's very inexpensive, such as these.
I've worn those, yeah.
Yes, many people will just grab a package of these and they're disposable, but you can use them a few times before you dispose them. But there's times where a person's ear canal doesn't accommodate this. Their ears are very curvy or very small. So if you can't get one of these in completely, then you're not doing an adequate job of protecting your hearing.
Those tend to work themselves out of my ears too.
They
as
can,
I use them.
especially if you're talking a lot or chewing. Each product has a noise reduction rating, and you shouldn't buy anything unless you see that on the back of it or on the packaging, it should tell you what that noise reduction rating is. So that kind of gives you some idea of how much protection or how much attenuation that device will provide, as long as it's worn correctly.
Now, of course, everybody has different ear canals, different sizes. Are there devices out there to allow for that?
Yes, some other devices, such as this, allows you to choose which one fits your ear best. There's a large, medium, and small. These happen to be ones that are not necessarily worn to prevent any sound from getting through, but just the right amount. So, for example, a musician that might be playing, a violin, but they may be in a symphony where the trumpets are right behind them. So, in order for them not to get blasted out by the trumpets, they'll wear devices like this that have a filter that allows them to hear their own music, know that they're in tune, and they're very comfortable to wear.
And all noise is not equal. I mean, impact noise is different than sustained noise.
Correct. So impulse noise is generally what you get when you're firing a firearm or around firecrackers, that type of thing. And impulse noise is more damaging than a steady state type of noise. So for an example, a firearm can be anywhere from 120 to upwards to 140 decibels. So for that type of sound, we actually recommend wearing double ear protection. So that means earplugs and earmuffs. So you double up on those numbers, because you've got to take 120, 140 down to at least around 90 in order to be protected.
With impulse damage, is damage done immediately?
It can be.
Okay.
It can be, and most times it is.
Good.
And sometimes then they experience what we refer to as a temporary hearing loss. It kind of sounds like you've got cotton in your ears.
Right.
If you've been to a concert, something loud, you kind of go home and you think, oh, my ears feel a little funny. It kind of sounds like I'm not even loud into myself. But by the next morning, their hearing seems to be better, and so they think nothing of it. Unfortunately, though, they may not have gotten back 100% of their hearing.
Yeah.
And if they do that over and over again, that's going to end up in permanent loss.
If people want more information of what you have to offer, maybe would like to make an appointment, have their hearing checked, how do they get that?
They can come see me at my office, Discover Audiology. They can look at my information on my website at discoveraudiologyspringfield.com, or they can call. My number is 417-920-5434.
All right. There you've heard it. It might be a really good idea to have a great relationship with an audiologist.